Hi guys, well welcome to my first official video that I'm gonna do about my sort of area in a show in general that I do. I thought this would be the first good one to kind of explain all the areas and what happens down under the stage where you normally don't see anything. Trying to find good lighting, sorry. So at the moment I'm doing Les Mis in my local town in New Zealand, and I'm one of the percussionists, one of two. We are doing I believe the 2012 revised version, which is kind of shorter in lighting, and sort of it makes it a bit more faster paced, I guess. So pretty much I will show you my area and the pit, the orchestra pit in general, to show you kind of what I work with every night. So this is station percussion 2. This is not my area, but the other percussionist area. Their main area is the two timpani, obviously. The whole orchestration is made for one percussion player, but I opted to get a second one because it was a lot of work for one person to do, and you end up missing a lot of stuff if you just have one person. So the station 2 area has the two timpani, a cymbal which is and I'll get this right, a Zildjian Custom K hybrid crash, and it's a 19-inch. It kind of just cuts through really well. It's good for cymbal rolls, just crashes and scrapes as well. There's a lot of scrapes and sort of like elemental, I guess, noises. We also have a set of chimes, the Roland SPD, which is good to load your own sort of sound effects up, or if you don't have an instrument of what's written there, you can kind of just chuck it on there. Once you sample it, it becomes much easier to do. We also have a Premier steel snare drum, and of course heaps of auxiliary percussion. So that's station 2. And we come over here to station 1. This is my area, which we'll go from the left because there's a lot of stuff here. We have a Slipknot signature snare drum. It's almost like a piccolo. It's a 14-inch. It's really high pitched. Well, I crank it really high pitched. You get a really nice sound out of it. Even the rolls come really nice through this once it goes through the PA system and everything. Of course, we have our trusty cowbell. We have some handmade octobans, which are really nice. The guy that stands over there in percussion 2, he actually made them himself, which are quite impressive, honestly. The trusty tambourine. We have a pasty china. I believe it is a 18-inch rock china, PST3. Kind of just basic, but I needed a cheap one for the show I did last year. I didn't have much money at the time, so I kind of just got it, and it worked really well for that show, so I thought it'd work well for this show too. We have a pasty alpha metal splash. That's just a 10-inch. Once again, it's not very expensive, but it does the job pretty well for what I wanted it for anyway. The part is written for a smaller splash, a 10-inch china. But because I've already got a big china, I thought I would opt and get a sort of a darker sounding splash, and I think it sounds way better than what a small china would anyway. Moving along, we've just got a pasty PST3 20-inch ride. I use it to crash on. Really good for cymbal rolls. Generally not a nice sounding cymbal, but you add cymbal rolls to that and scrapes with all the ridges, and it comes across really, really well. And then we have another chime bar. There's a lot of chimes in this show. But this is a double road chime bar, as you can tell from the side, whereas the other one over there is just a single row. As well as the octobans, we've got just a normal set, 4 toms. The first 3 clear coated are just Tama. They're just a skills kit that I'm borrowing for the show, but I tune them up nicely, and I've got little moon gel sort of stickies on there to kind of muffle the sound a little bit. And this one is just an Ashton. I know I know, not great. An Ashton floor tom, it gets a really nice deep sound of it with the Evans G2 on it, and that's kind of the sound I wanted. And no matter what make the drum is, honestly, you can make it sound good if you tune it, put good skins on it, and maintain it well. And that's mainly my area. We've also got a big concert bass drum here, which is really good for rolls. It doubles as a grand casa, I believe it's written, which is essentially this, but it's not called bass drum, it's called a grand casa. You use these big, heavy sort of woolen mallets to hit it with, and you just get a big, deep sound out of it. It's really cool. That is the two stations, really. And we kind of cross over from time to time. He'll come over there and hit that one, and it just works well. It was meant to be set up as just a station that we can all hit things simultaneously, but it worked out that if we just created two sort of separate sections cutting off here, then it worked better, I think. And right over there is where the musical director or slash the conductor stands, or sits rather, for the show, because it is 3 hours long. And it's kind of hard to see when I'm standing here because there's usually that pole right there just in the way. It's not great, but it's alright. Same with Percussion 2. You kind of has to look bend around here, but there is a monitor just up there, if you can see that TV screen. The conductor's video is played through there as well, so you can kind of see him from angles no matter what. And lastly, our feed that we can hear everything through is through the speaker here. Normally we have our individual mixes that we can customize, have instruments and vocals and cast and everything through it, but for this show it was easier just for the two of us to share a single speaker and only hear the cast through it, which is a little bit different. But normally this perspex that you can see in front of us is completely covering this whole area, so it goes right up to the top and it cages us in it that way as well. And we normally just exit through that door to get in and out, but they kind of let us out of the cage, I guess, for the show. So we can actually hear a lot of instruments just through that open area, which is nice. Now for the rest of the orchestra pit area for this show, these stairs lead straight up to the stage. That's used for a couple of scenes in the show. If you're familiar with Les Mis, there's that sewer scene where they get dragged down the sewers and they come up through the sewers. So that is the entrance onto the main stage. If you climb up there, I could probably get up there, but I don't know what they're doing, so I'm not going to. If we carry on through here, that is the exit to get backstage, to the green room, to all the cast changing rooms, etc, etc. And then this is the rest of the orchestra pit. So there we have a cello noise that's on the keyboard. The double bass sits here. We have the strings there, 2 violins and a viola. We have 2 keyboards. Keyboard 2 is here and keyboard 1 is there. They run the keyboard through a MacBook, which is normally here. I was going to show you a bit. It's not here. It's there, but it's not open, so I'm not going to mess with that. But all the sounds run through there, and it runs through a program, and they have different sounds on it. And if you look down here, there's the normal sustain pedal, there's a volume pedal, and then there's a switch pedal, which changes the sound that comes out of the keyboard. So instead of them having to manually switch, they just use their feet, and it makes it for a smoother process. And then, like I was saying before, the musical director slash conductor sits up there. We continue over this side. We have the brass section, so the trumpet, trombone, these two seats are the two French horns, and then we have the clarinet, oboe, and flute and piccolo, and well, essentially the whole wind section of these three people. They all switch between 4 instruments at a time. I don't envy them, honestly. As you can tell, it's kind of a mess here. Musicians aren't the cleanest of people. And then obviously if you turn around you see our area. So I hope you kind of enjoyed that tour of our of my section and the orchestra pit in general. And of course behind the black curtain there is the whole audience. There's 2 levels of seating. It's quite a very impressive theatre. It's very old. My eyes look really red. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope it's very informative.